Welcome everyone to our weekly live Q&A. Feel free to throw your questions in the chat. I'll answer those questions as I see them come up. If you're catching us on the replay or on our YouTube channel, still feel free to throw your questions in the comments. We will put those into our live on the following week from whenever we see those comments come in. Wanted to start today a topic that's kind of been buzzing with different research that's coming up. A lot of questions I've seen come up from clients talking about how strength training impacts brain health. So it's definitely a thing that a lot of people don't necessarily think about because most people, they're coming into the gym, they're working on either weight loss, maybe they do want some muscle building, some strength, but no one really thinks about the impact that muscle building and strength has on brain health. So I wanted to kind of go over that, help people understand the benefits of it and the impact that we're having with that. The big aspect is just like strength training preserves muscle tissue as we age, it's also showing to help preserve and improve your brain function as you age too. There's a lot of things coming out about that that's pretty monumental, anywhere between somewhere around 1 to 3 year reduction in brain age for people who are doing strength training versus people who aren't in their retirement age group. So definitely a big thing. So I want to kind of go over what's happening and different elements of what we can do to maximize that. So understanding that muscles, obviously they're there to help you move around, stabilize your body, but they do function a lot like an organ. So every time we stimulate and use your muscles, different signals are released to the body to create different effects, which is going to impact different aspects of your body, but including your brain. So one of those things is things like growth factors, stimulating repair and regeneration cycles. So those are important because obviously it's stimulating that to help repair the muscle tissue, but having those hormones that help support repair and regeneration be increased because of that muscle stimulation, that hormonal signal actually impacts all the systems in your body. So it's helping all of your different organs, including your brain, be regenerated more often, be repaired more proactively, so we sustain that health of the cells in those organs on a higher level than if we're not being active and we're not stimulating that muscle. Other things to look at is you're creating an environment, making your body maintain itself. So overall, it's better at repairing, it's better at adapting to things. So memory, learning, and other brain function stays better at a higher level for you. So when you're doing resistance training, or if you're not doing resistance training, we see muscle decline. But the problem with that is when muscles decline, we also see a decline in brain function as well, because we're not stimulating enough of that motor neural connection to keep everything working. Your metabolism drops, the hormones that we talked about for helping health and repair are diminished, and we see that impact not just muscle tissue but brain as well. So some things to kind of look at, what are we truly impacting? So one of the big factors with muscle is your metabolic health. Your muscle organ system is one of the biggest drivers on impacting insulin sensitivity or insulin resistance. Most of you are probably familiar with hearing insulin resistance in aspects of diabetes risk. But what's also been shown is that insulin resistance, one, is an impact for most degenerative diseases, but especially also in factors of dementia as well. So much so that researchers are often referring to things like dementia and Alzheimer's as diabetes type 3, because it's being driven so much by that insulin resistant factor in the brain cells. So more muscle reduces insulin resistance, making the brain healthier in that respect, because it's going to reduce your resistance across the board. So not only are we reducing risks for diabetes, but we're also reducing the associated risk for dementia health as well. So that's one of the first big aspects of how it impacts overall health in the brain. The other one is processing coordination. Doing strength training, especially multi-joint and dynamic movements, making your body learn how to stabilize, control itself. That requires your brain to stay focused and engaged. It's developing different motor neural connections between muscle systems and your nervous system, and that improves brain efficiency, improves how well the brain and body communicate. There's aspects of what we call proprioception, which is how your muscle skeletal system helps influence your balance and coordination. So that's more sustained and maintained as we age, and that's where we get into long-term protection. One of the biggest things that we see with age is a decline in strength, coordination, and cognitive function. Most of that isn't age, it's actually due to disuse. So if you actually consistently train and keep the muscle, you keep the motor neural connections, we don't see the same level of decline from a cognitive standpoint as we do in someone who isn't maintaining their activity. So it's a big aspect if you're concerned with maintaining your independence, your mobility, your mental sharpness and aptitude. You need to be doing strength training on a consistent basis to sustain that motor neural coordination and connection for your body. With that being said, we're not talking about being a bodybuilder. We're not talking about doing, a professional athlete workout program. You don't have to be in the gym every single day. You can get these benefits with as little as 2, maybe 3 days a week, somewhere between 30 to 60-minute strength training sessions. Again, you want to focus on movements that are using multiple joints. So things like squats, lunges, rows, pull-ups or lat pull-downs, push-ups, chest press, anything that involves more than just one joint is going to create more coordination requirements. So it's going to get that brain coordination stimulus more effective for us and keep that development sustained rather than declined. Typically, you want to do more movements that require you to stabilize and control your body rather than being in a machine that kind of locks in your body into one path of motion. Because the more that it has to coordinate, the more we're stimulating that cognitive benefit of building coordination. The more we build coordination, the more we keep cognitive brain health going, because it has to adapt to those responses. So there's more neural drive in there to maintain better development for you. You don't have to beat yourself into oblivion. We just have to stimulate your body enough that it's challenged in order to adapt. As long as you're doing that on a consistent minimum twice a week basis, we see these improvements. We see muscle maintained. We see brain health maintained deep into older ages. So it's not just a factor of it's too late. It's never too late to start. You can get going, start small. Strength training isn't just about how you look. It's going to help your brain continue to function at the way that we want it to function over time to maintain your metabolism, your mobility, most importantly, your independence and cognitive health, all together with that. So if you're not doing anything, you start small. 1 to 2 sessions a week is a great step in the right direction. Even if you're only able to do 1 or 2 of these exercises to begin with, we can build and add as you keep going. The big thing is staying consistent, because it's one of those things where the return shows up years down the road. You may not see immediate impacts with it. We've got to be consistent over time, because a lot of the biggest thing is that we're trying to stave off, we're not just trying to develop, we're also trying to stave off degeneration. So we need to be consistent to get that going. If you find yourself struggling in how to put these things together, if you're unsure of how to do some of these movements, maybe because of previous injury concerns, or just you haven't really done any strength training forever, feel free to reach out. We're always happy to help people with putting together programs, creating something that's realistic and sustainable for you. Hope that's helpful for everyone. The biggest thing is just remember, staying consistent with this is the biggest factor for seeing these health benefits. And you need as little as 2 times a week with a 30-minute program. If you're concerned about that, reach out. We're more than happy to help you. And most importantly, stay persistent in your consistent pursuit of health.